The top 5 wide receivers who had rookie quarterbacks in 2021 right now on Fantasy Football Today in 5. What's up? Adam Azer with Heath Cummings. Heath has got a top 5 list for you in honor of F15.5. Great stuff, Heath. All right. So we're looking at the guys who have now sophomore quarterbacks, rookies from last year. So we're looking at San Francisco. We're looking at Chicago, the Jets, the Jaguars, and what was the other one? The Patriots. The Patriots,
yes. Well, and actually, we both forgot one while we were sitting here talking, but also the Texans.
The Texans. Yes, we did forget that. So we put a lot of thought into this, and no, we actually did. I'm sorry about this gaffe at the beginning here. So let's talk about your top 5 list and who's number 1 to 5. Yeah, do 1 to 5. Who's number 1? The wide receiver highest ranked with a sophomore quarterback.
And I guess at this point, it's still a little bit up in the air if he's going to have a sophomore quarterback week 1, because it sounds like Jimmy Garoppolo will be on the team at least through the summer. But Devos Samuel, my number 10 wide receiver. And I think that kind of makes sense because we are unsure about all of these rookie passers as passers. And Debo does enough within the running game to kind of make up for that. So he stands out above the rest.
Okay, how about number 2? I think this one's interesting. Could it be Brandon Cooks? Could it be Elijah Moore? Will it be Darnell Mooney? Who's going to be number 2?
I would like to say that it's Elijah Moore. That's the one I would be most excited about probably, but it's by a pretty good margin for me, Brandon Cooks right now. I just think you look at the rapport that he had with Davis Mills. Looks like he'll be close to a 30% target share guy on a team that I'm not sure is going to be absolutely awful. They've got a lot of draft picks, and I think they'll at least be somewhat well coached. So, yeah, I think wide receiver 16, high-end number 2 wide receiver, and Cooks is even higher than that in my projections. He's pretty close to wide receiver 12.
Okay, awesome. So that means number 3 is Elijah Moore?
Number 3 is Darnell Mooney, and I've got Moore and Mooney basically as a pick 'em, both as mid-range number 3 wide receivers. Either one could get company when it comes to the draft. In fact, I would expect that Mooney will. Certainly questions about their quarterback play, but we saw Mooney last year give us a borderline number 2 type season with Justin Fields and worse quarterback play. So I like Moore's upside a lot more. Projections wise, I have Mooney projected just a little bit higher, but I'd be willing to reach for Moore in a draft more often than I would Mooney.
Does it bother you that Mooney had a lot of his production, a lot of his best production with Andy Dalton?
Yeah. Yeah. And it bothers me that it was really just that he got a whole bunch of targets. He wasn't particularly efficient, and I don't know that he can be unless Fields takes a big step as a passer.
Okay. So we have Debo, Cooks, Mooney, Moore, 4?
Yeah, and we basically have 2. I wouldn't quite put Cooks and Debo in the same tier, but they're close enough considering how far the other guys are behind them. We kind of have a top tier of Debo and Cooks, and then we have the middle tier of good starters with upside and Mooney and Moore. And then number 5, I think, is at this point up for debate. But currently, I would have Jacoby Myers just ahead of Christian Kirk for the number 5 spot, right around wide receiver 40 for both of those guys. There was a lot of talk about how the Patriots wanted to improve their wide receiver room. They were unable to. I don't know that we have any reason to expect they're going to hit on one in the draft. That's not really the Patriot way. So kind of seems like Jacoby Myers is lined up to be the number 1 wide receiver for Mac Jones again, and probably see 130 targets or so. He'll be a lot better in PPR than he is in non, but he showed last year he has the ability to score a touchdown. Again, I think it's probably a situation where Myers is going to project better than Kirk. If you were talking about upside and who's everyone going to be excited about, Kirk would win that battle over Myers for sure.
Jacoby Myers led the Patriots in receiving last year. He had 66 more receiving yards than Kendrick Bourne, 66 more yards on 56 more targets than Kendrick Bourne. So that was not very good.
Kendrick Bourne had an insane efficiency year, and he's kind of done it a couple years in a row. But yeah, I mean, you look at Kendrick Bourne, if you just look at like yards per target, yards per reception, touchdown rate, things like that, you would think this guy is an elite wide receiver. Why don't they give him the ball more?
Hey, maybe he's a sleeper. Maybe he's a sleeper. He should be in this discussion too. A wide receiver. He's in I guess. Is he top 10?
I don't think you could probably put him type 10 because you'd want to have Ayuk ahead of him. I would definitely have Corey Davis ahead of him. I think you'd probably have one of Marvin Jones or LaVisca ahead of him. So yeah, he's pretty close to top 10.
LaVisca's on the Chiefs or the Jaguars here?
Well, right now since we're talking about 2021 rookie quarterbacks, I hope he's on the Jaguars.
And I gotta ask, what happened? What happened this weekend? Where's the voice?
Fantastic weekend is what happened. I coached 9 basketball games over the course of 2 days. My son's 6th grade team won the championship last night.
Wow.
It was a fantastic weekend, and I would not anticipate the voice being better tomorrow.
Oh, good. Well, congratulations, Coach Heath. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. We'll talk to you on Thursday on Fantasy Football. Actually, I think we have one tomorrow, if I remember correctly, on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Got to check the schedule. But we'll have Emery Hunt back on this week as well to break down more NFL draft.